Oh my god, absolute agony. But ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea, Maresca's Chelsea. Let's just straighten this up a little bit. Maresca's Chelsea into the Club World Cup semi-final against Thiago Silva's Fluminense, eliminating Estêvão's Palmeiras in what was a very intense second half. So many talking points, wonder goals from both Cole Palmer and Estêvão. Really, really tense game, combative. It was a battle. Chelsea played really well in a lot of parts, defended incredibly well when they needed to. Oh my word. And obviously I'm a few hours late. I slept until about 5 a.m. so I could actually watch the game properly. I watched it on a replay, not knowing the score. I was drinking coffee. I was having heart palpitations. And yeah, man, I'm freaking buzzed. Come on there, Chelsea. So yeah, I'm going to react to it today. Here, welcome back to Football Therapy. How's it going? I hope you're doing well. Yes, match review of Palmeiras 1, Chelsea 2. Goal scored by Cole Palmer, Estêvão. And no, not Malo Gusto's first goal for Chelsea, which is cruel. Is he ever going to get it? It was Guy own goal in the end. We're going to get into it, guys. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, as always, for supporting my content here on Football Therapy. If you want to do that, you can just like the video, and it's probably a good time at the beginning of the video to mention many of my viewers aren't subscribed. So if you do find yourself watching my content and you're yet to subscribe, can I just gently invite you to subscribe to this channel, Football Therapy? Cheers. Woohoo! Intense. I'm jacked, bro. Like, that is... Yeah, I didn't even pick up my phone. I just went to the computer, I prepped it the night before, and I watched the game. And like I said, I drank coffee, and that second half was intense. Lots to learn, loads to talk about in this game. Quickly, I will probably address this a little bit more in a Chelsea news video, but Chelsea have been fined by UEFA for financial fair play rule regulation breaches. This isn't new, by the way. We knew this was coming. We know that we could sell hotels and women's teams for PSR, but that's, of course, related to the Premier League and English football. That doesn't work with UEFA. So we were waiting for how they were going to, tell us off. And we've since learnt what the situation is. So, yeah, it's a fine. It's a minimum of like 20 million. It could go up a lot more. It could basically take the Club World Cup money. I think Chelsea were prepared and expecting this. So it's not like... what's happening to us? I think they were seeing it's coming. And by all accounts, Chelsea have got a good relationship with UEFA. We'll, of course, cover that story as it develops. It shouldn't hinder us to, carry on as we're going, essentially. Seemingly. Right, so let's get into this ruddy game, shall we? Here we go. I'm going to change the webcam border, I think, because it's a little bit bulky for my liking. So, yes, Palmeiras 1, Chelsea 2. As you can see here on SofaScore, the attacking momentum meter is broadly with Chelsea, but there were moments with Palmeiras, as you can see here on the left-hand side of the screen, the meter on the top left. In terms of how we lined up, it was interesting. Huge talking points, because not only was Caicedo suspended, we learned that Lavia was unavailable due to injury. Of course, with the sad and tragic passing of Diogo Jota and indeed his brother Andre, we were unsure if Neto was going to start because he was close to him. He did start. He played very well. There was also a lovely tribute to Diogo Jota and his brother before kickoff. I imagine we'll see that moving forwards. Of course, we've seen tributes in training as well as with different teams. Excuse me. So Rob Sanchez in goal. We will talk about player performances. Trev Chalobah kind of playing that right centre back in the back three. We're going to look at some heat maps here just to show you how they were shaped up. So then it would mean Colwill as the centre of a back three. This, of course, isn't in possession where we are mostly in possession. So Trev on the right. And then Cucurella on the left. He inverts slightly, but really he's still the left of a three that pushes up. But as you can see, he kind of comes into the midfield in certain phases of play to support. what was not the strongest central defensive midfield, because we had Enzo Fernandez and Santos, as you see there, and we've already heard from the Chelsea manager, Maresca, say he sees them both as that sort of attacking midfielder, that left pocket. So it was a really interesting one. Would he give Dario Asugo the start? Would he start Reece James in central defensive midfield, which we've seen before, and it didn't really work that well? But no, he went with what he deems two attacking midfielders in Santos and Fernandez as sort of sitters, but with a little bit of support from Cucurella inverting every now and again. Let's look at their heat maps, though. Really interesting. So yeah, Andre Santos was kind of the sitter, as you can see there on the left, just that red heat map, just going up and down, very central, very disciplined. Enzo Fernandez, captain on the day, much more licensed to move around, but as you can see, they're slightly more on the left-hand side. And Nkunku, playing as a left winger, doing a job for us. It's very peculiar how he's still playing. Of course, Madueke comes on. Madueke apparently, very interested, open to joining Arsenal, which is, of course, a transfer news story we will be covering here on the channel. I still think the Nkunku situation is fascinating. Why are we playing him? He does look dedicated. I mean, he didn't have a great performance here, but he does look dedicated. I'm not going to slag him off. He doesn't do very well on the left wing. I mean, he made a key pass, but he made 14 passes. Do you know what I mean? Pedro Neto, I thought he was excellent. There was a moment in the first half where, you were unsure how he was going to perform. He did this amazing dribble from the right wing, taking on all these players, slaloming through. Clearly very, very, in the zone, despite what's happened recently. Cole Palmer in the number 10, slightly right pocket orientated, which is his favoured position on the pitch, because he can cut in on his left boot, which he, of course, likes very much. Liam Delap, of course, we were really interested to see who plays here, because Nico Jackson, and yeah, we will talk about Nico Jackson, he's no longer suspended. So we thought, is he going to come back in, or is Delap going to keep his place? I think the general consensus from Chelsea fans was Delap should keep his place. He's the number 9, he's physical, he's not getting himself sent off and getting suspended, whereas Nico keeps doing it over and over. So he can't just be forgiven for... it's so tricky, because there's two ways to look at it. One, Nicholas Jackson's been a really integral and important player for Chelsea for a couple of years in our development going upwards. He has. You can have your own opinions about him, but in the attack, his combinations, goals, assists, selfless work off the ball, he's been very good. So he's got credit in the bank, regardless. But he's also got 2 really bad red cards recently, and you need to show the rest of the Chelsea squad. Yeah, if you do that, you don't just immediately get thrown back in, and when Delap's out there working hard. So that was a big talking point, of course. And Nico Jackson, Mark, fair enough, but Nico Jackson was on the bench. Not only did he just didn't even get used, favoured Joao Pedro over him. Is Nico Jackson and Noddy Madueke going? I mean, they both could, of course, stay. I wouldn't read too much into this one game in isolation, but I think maybe there's an element of Nico Jackson sort of being punished, inverted commas, disciplinary. Like, look, if you keep getting sent off, mate, you just won't play. You need to sort of think about what you've done. Delap, really combative, bully up front, got that yellow card, so he will miss the semi-final against Fluminense now. So we would probably see Jackson start. I don't think maybe he won't be trusted. Maybe it will be Joao Pedro starts and Jackson gets minutes off the bench in the semi. We saw substitute appearances from the aforementioned Joao Pedro, Noni Madueke, both pretty good off the bench. Dewsbury Hall for a few token minutes, as was Dario Asugo. 4-2-3-1 from... the Brazilian side, Weatherton in goal. Weatherton, you let in an own goal. Can't think of a more creative song. Estêvão was and by the way, I've been reliably informed by people, and indeed listening to Athletic podcast, the Chelsea one, is you enunciate the second E. I don't know if it's a silent first E, like Jokeres. But it's Estêvão. It sort of goes, it peaks in the middle, and gets very excited there, then it sort of tails off. Yes, clearly an amazing player. We'll speak about him a little bit more in his goal, but obviously, still lots to learn. His emotions are all over the gaff. I tell you what. He celebrated his goal, didn't he? Will he celebrate? He's talked about conflicting emotions of butterflies, how it's affecting him. He celebrated his goal, and effing right as well. We'll talk about that. So they got a good team. They're very combative. Of course, the centre-back Fuchs, I thought was very good. He's really winding me up, which is probably a testament to him being a great player. Rios as well, he was an absolute knobber in the midfield. Let's have a look at some stats before we take you through the timeline, friends. All right, here we go. Left-hand side of your screen. One big chance apiece, and that will be probably the 2 goals by the Wonder Boys that now both play for Chelsea in Estêvão and Parma. Chelsea outshot Palmeiras by quite a lot. They made 5 goalkeeper saves, so Weatherton was pretty decent in the end. Much more passes, and we had much more corners, but it never felt safe. And this is credit to Palmeiras, because despite like a lot of possession and shots, they scored a wonder goal. They had a few breaks, and it was yet another test for this Chelsea team, who passed it really well. Like, off the bat now, there was a few things that really impressed me about Chelsea. Levi Colwill, again, playing really, really well, doing really big moment challenges, mopping up, showing maturity, showing leadership. He did, like, the halftime interview on DAZN as well. Really, really growing into a leadership role, Levi Colwill. Defensively, Chelsea's offside trap, generally, the defensive line really disciplined. We caught them offside quite a few times, which is crucial. So Chelsea as a defensive unit under Maresca has been quite, it's been getting better and better and better. And that's for 2 reasons. Tactical discipline, the defensive line, the offside trap, the togetherness, the understanding of the tactics, and just maturity, developmental maturity of what is a very young team. Of course, Cucurella has been sort of consistently very good for Chelsea for quite a while now. But, like, you know, the likes of Colwill and Gusto and Chalobah's have always been broadly solid. So, you know, it's very good. So let's walk you through it. Trevoh Chalobah playing in Cole Palmer in the 16th minute. Just on the, you know, the DAZN commentary early doors in this game. They were like, oh, he's only got 1 goal in 4,000 games. He's on the drought, yada, yada, yada. Scores an absolute beauty. Really nice body shape to lay the ball off in front of his left boot. His favoured left boot on that right pocket, tucks it away in the corner. It's a great goal. It's a wonderful goal. Lots of Chelsea fans in is it Lincoln Field Stadium? I think so. You know, he gets to drop the chilly celebration in hot America, giving the fans what they want, and it's a beauty. It's a lovely goal. It's a dare I say, it's a worldie. It's just a great goal. And we like it. So we go in halftime. Malo Gusto gets booked as well, I think, for probably a bit of a naughty foul. It's hella combative. Like, there's lots of fights. Liam Delap's bullying everyone. You know, Brazilian combativeness, and of course, you know, the likes of our Argentine captain in midfield. And it's worth mentioning as well. I was listening on the Athletic straight out of Cobham preview for this, and there was, I forget his name, the journalist who does Brazilian football. Yeah, he's the one who was talking about pronunciation, please, boys. But he was explaining how Brazilian football, perhaps our like Eurocentric view of it is, oh, it's going to be like tiki-taka, total football, because it's like the Samba boys, Brazil, like. But actually, it's not so much like that. It's very combative. It's actually quite pragmatic. The pitches aren't potentially that great, so the ball doesn't move that well in it. So it's maybe a little bit more pragmatic and combative than we think, rather than like these, you know, fancy, you know, Yoga Bonito sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? So it was quite interesting to hear that. And indeed, the Palmeiras manager, Abel Ferreira, I went a bit French there. I can't pronounce the Brazilian R. Rafinha Ronaldinho. He's apparently very much a pragmatist. The Palmeiras manager, solving problems was described. He was described as a problem solver. So yes, we go in 1-0. Persistent fouling. Delap gets yellow card. Really annoying. Right at the end of the first half. Needless. Now he's suspended for the semi-final. Of course, we see that goal. Estêvão is Rios assist, but it's Estêvão, isn't it? Like the way Estêvão, the way he takes the ball. and lashes it. Isn't it on his weak foot? So it's a really impossible angle near the byline. He takes it on his weaker right foot and lashes it up in the roof of the net. It's a brilliant goal. And it's like, at that point, it's bittersweet. But at the end of the game, it's perfect. Because he's our boy. He's our boy, and Palmeiras lost. It is a wonder goal. I mean, he's won 2 player of the matches. I think they're fan voted up to this, but it was a beauty. It was a wonderful goal from the 18-year-old Brazilian who's now a Chelsea player. He rightly celebrated for Palmeiras. There was none of this, "Ooh, what do I do?" He went nuts. He was kissing the badge, he was touching him, and of course, because he's playing for Palmeiras, they're the one that's platformed him, that's got him this move to the Premier League in London. Yes, he's doing the correct thing there. And it's not like, maybe if he'd played for Chelsea he was like a 38-year-old and played for Chelsea for a decade. But no, he's 18, he's yet to come to Chelsea. He's been kicked a little bit by like the Chelsea players, Levi Colwill and Cucurella and stuff. So yeah, go nuts. I was pleased to see that. But at the time, I was like, oh my God. Which, by the way, testament to me feeling, I actually really care about this now, this Club World Cup. I really care about it now. With 2 games away, Fluminense are really good. Thiago Silva is really good. That will be emotionally difficult for different reasons as well. Should we beat them, let's be real, we'll probably meet PSG in the final and probably lose if we get there. But I really care. And I saw the Estêvão goal, and I guess I was like, well, I wasn't even like, if it's anyone, let it be him. I was just really worried that this kid was going to slap us because I know how good he is. But yes, so at this point we're 1-1. I'm bricking myself, and Liam Delap comes off, who's broadly just been a hatchet man. But Maresca reacts, and to be fair, both the players that come on, Madueke and João Pedro, as you can see here, they played well, bro. They played well. Very, very interesting choice. Of course, Noni Madueke playing out of position on the left, but he plays better out of position on the left than Nkunku plays as a winger. Nkunku, ladies and gentlemen, is not a winger, and he's definitely not a Maresca-style winger. Maybe he's a transitional left-sided forward like Timo Werner was. Maybe that's why they both scored loads of goals at Leipzig. But yeah, we make the changes. Delap off, so Delap won't be playing until the final if we get there. Of course, should we get there. And then Nkunku, yeah, I mean, he's been useful. He scored that goal the previous game. But, he's just being a team player, which is great, but not overly effective. And Noni Madueke played well when he came on. And, of course, the winner ultimately is in the 83rd minute. Gueye, I don't know how you pronounce his name. Own goal, ultimately. It was a shot from Malo Gusto, and I thought I was buzzing because it's Malo Gusto's first goal for Chelsea, and boy, what an important one it would prove to be. But of course, it was a big deflection. The goalkeeper even then should have done better, and ultimately it was an own goal. But it was fine. We see some changes, and Asugo comes on for Santos. So let's talk about player performances then. Sanchez made a good few claims. I'm not going to really talk much about him. He's being part of a good journey in here. I mean, you'd have to say the semi-finals of the Club World Cup, already success. We've made a bunch of money. We're going to need it to pay UEFA. It's been a success. We've seen new players. We've seen, Estêvão score against us, these moments. I think from now on, it's just good, especially considering we've already got 2 rounds further than Man City, which is great. Sanchez, though, he's part of the team, a bit like Nkunku. I'm happy for them to just be part of this experience. But long term, my vision for Chelsea doesn't have Rob Sanchez in goal. Gusto, fine. He would have been a very worrying player. He played as a width holder rather than an inverter. Didn't go too high, though, which is fine. Of course, allowing for Pedro Neto to be a bit ahead of him there in terms of the heat maps and the spaces they're occupying. The whole backline, fine. Cucurella, yeah, probably the best Cucurella. He's an amazing left back. My word, we need cover for him. We need an Dario Asugo for him, like we've got for Caicedo, because he is being overplayed, or certainly will be overplayed before long. So maybe a Jarell Hato or someone like that. We'll see what happens. Colwill, Chalobah, good. Both of them, big ticks. Enzo Fernandez, good captain on the day. Santos, his first competitive start for Chelsea, I believe. That can't be right. Didn't he got recalled after Forest and sent to Strasbourg, and then did he not play? I think it's his competitive debut, or at least full debut, full start. I'm pretty sure. Neto, very good. Palmer, world class. And Kunku, we've sort of spoken about. Delap, just a quick word on Delap. He's sort of like, I like him. We all like him because he's essentially, he's giving Diego Costa, isn't he? And that's what we like about him. He's sort of bullying. He's not scared. He's fighting. And he's got quality. He's not just a hatchet man. You know, he's got quality. We know we've got it. We've seen it. He'll be frustrated, but he's part of a winning team. He will be good for Chelsea. But does he and Nicholas Jackson need to be worried about João Pedro? Because there's a lot of serious big boy football analysts that are saying João Pedro is a serious baller. Like, you know, I've always liked him. I said it time again. I'm going to stop blowing my own horn, but I said, why don't we sign him when we were being linked to Ferguson? I liked him. I didn't necessarily think about him as this like solution player, but maybe he is tactically. And maybe, I don't know if Delap needs to be worried because he's just arrived and he will always be an option and he's young and, you know, yada, yada, yada. But I wonder if Nicholas Jackson's thinking, ugh. Of course, he was linked to Juventus, who have just signed Jonathan David. Finally, someone signed Jonathan David. And yeah, I was really impressed with Noni Madueke off the bench and João Pedro, and the other two obviously didn't really get much time to impress. First of all, Noni Madueke, again playing out of position, looks like a threat. Looked immediately and infinitely better than Nkunku in that position, in that role, in this Maresca team. Doing really, really well. Might be off to Arsenal. Apparently he's open to joining Arsenal. Some Chelsea fans are angry about that. I mean, he's constantly trying to prove himself at Chelsea in different positions under different managers, and, you know, we're buying new wingers, and maybe he thinks, look, I kind of won't hate on him if he goes because he's a young player. He's come from Tottenham Academy. He's gone abroad. He's got no allegiances to Chelsea. He just wants to play for a big team and be a star. Arsenal as well. You know, the elephant in the room is they'll pay him way more wages than we're paying him right now. He never got that Palmer, Caicedo, Jackson pay rise thing. He wanted to be the next guy to get the Chelsea pay rise. He's yet to get it. He's probably on, 70k a week or something. Arsenal would give him double that immediately, plus more or whatever. So there is that. And João Pedro looks very impressive. He sort of played ostensibly as a striker, but got touches all over the gaff and made 2 key passes in very limited time. 2 out of 2 dribbles, and yeah, man, it looked really good off the bench. Lovely stuff. So we got everything. I mean, the best thing would have been a 5-1 Chelsea win with that Estêvão goal. It's a little taster, but we got an intense game, a competitive game. You know, respect to Palmeiras. They did what they needed to do in terms of combativeness. They didn't make it in the end. Chelsea are through, very intense, and this has been a long match review. So let me know what your thoughts are. Please do leave them in the comment section. Please do like and subscribe. Daily content here on Football Therapy, and if you are interested, there's also daily content on the second channel, Football Yannick, where I discuss all the big stories in world football that, of course, aren't related to Chelsea. Link in the description, or just search Football Yannick on YouTube. Ooh, I'm going to go and have a lie down. Peace!